If this is something that's new to you, kind of first off, be sure moving forward that you include specific wording about annual price increases in your master services agreement, in your contracts. Because remember, price increases are necessary, especially when you're running a business. So it isn't something that should be feared. And ideally, the topic of price increases, it should be something that's automatically built into your contracts. It should be something that you're open and you're direct about, during the sales process, as you're about to bring a new client on board. So as an example, there should be a clause in your contracts that states that, maybe, every September 1st or October 1st or whatever your date is, they can expect their monthly price to be subject to maybe 3%, 4%, 5%, whatever that rate of inflation has been. And you can even leave the terminology, commiserate to the rate of inflation if you wanted, if you didn't want to kind of put in a 3 or a 4 or a 5, because obviously this year inflation was a lot higher than I think anybody was expecting it to be. But by building this into the contract at the outset, and by making, all new clients that you're about to bring on aware of this clause at the very beginning of the relationship, the idea is it's going to help alleviate that struggle of having to deal with your annual price increase. Really, you shouldn't even have to bring it up or bring it to their attention, through any formal announcements. It will just be something that they can come to expect, every September 1st, October 1st, January 1st, whatever that date is that you choose. So if you don't have special wording about price increases in your contracts today, then that's really kind of step one to get that corrected, working with your legal counsel on that. But even if you do have price increase clauses built into your contracts, it is common courtesy to send out reminders to your customers. And ideally, it's best to send out your reminders as far in advance as you can, anywhere from 60 to 90 days in advance of the price increase is ideal. The more time you can give your customers to adjust, the better they'll be able to, kind of prepare their own businesses on how they can incorporate them and deal with them. So I've come up with kind of a good, better, best, way of how to communicate your reminders to your customers. And so really a good approach to communicating your price increases, you can just send an email, to whoever your key contacts are at your customer locations, reminding them about the upcoming price changes, letting them know that they can expect, their new monthly price to be, whatever, X as of, whatever date. I think a better approach to communicating your price increases is sending an email and mailing out a special, personalized letter to each organization, reminding them of the upcoming price increase. Again, letting them know that they can expect their new monthly price to be, X as of whatever, kind of X date. But I think the best approach to communicating price increases is, sending out an email or mailing out a personalized letter, kind of 60 to 90 days in advance. And then having someone from your organization, whether it's the dedicated account manager or, whoever owns the client relationship, then call each of those clients kind of a few weeks, after that email or that letter went out, just to check in and to follow up with them personally to make sure that they got it, to remind them of the upcoming price increase, because they may have not received the initial communication, or they might not have recalled, or it might have got, kind of buried in their inbox. And so I think this approach works really well because it sends the message that you care. Yes, you are telling them that you're raising your prices, but you are being open and transparent about it, and you're being overly communicative on this subject because you want to make sure that there's no surprises for them when they go to open up that invoice on October 1st, or you're charging their credit card on October 1st for that higher amount. And so I think customers will really appreciate that extra touch. And that was really how I always handled, our price increase season, at Enable when I was an account manager and in sales. Our finance department would send out an email first, and then I would just make sure that I would follow up each email, maybe a few days later with a proactive phone call, just to make sure that they received the email from finance about the price increase, and just offer them the opportunity to ask any questions or, address any concerns that they may have. It wasn't fun, but my preference was to deal with the price increase head on, because my worry was always that they wouldn't see the email communication from finance because maybe it went to the wrong person or the wrong inbox or got spammed or whatever. And then they'd be shocked and upset when they saw their next invoice that contained the increased monthly price. Or, maybe, because this happened quite a bit too, they wouldn't notice the price increase, several months down the road, and then they would come back and ask me about it and obviously be upset. So by being proactive and following up with a phone call after the first email, the first letter was sent out, it really helped to avoid, those potential uncomfortable phone conversations later on. Because if you are new to this, you do want to deal with this in as a direct manner as possible. As I said, it's not necessarily fun, but it is something that is necessary. It's also important to make sure that the entire company is aware of the price increases and when they are taking effect, before it takes effect, so that they can communicate the same consistent type of messaging. Everyone that is customer facing really needs to be trained, on the, magnitude and the timing of the rate increase. And if this is your first time that you've implemented a price increase for your MSP, or, maybe you've been kind of ad hoc about it in the past, some years you have and some years you haven't, then it helps to be prepared to have scripted answers around, when your customer asks you why, or if they ask you, why now? Those types of concerns from your customers. So it helps to kind of have scripted responses ready and train your staff on how to respond to your customers' concerns. Because again, no one likes having their prices raised on them, but if you can be clear in your justification around it, it will go a long way in helping to get their understanding and their support. And a good way to handle, those possible customer objections or concerns is taking it from the value perspective, just by saying something like, we're implementing annual price increases so we can continue to provide our customers with the quality support and the quality services that they've come to expect, from working with us. Because without regular price increases, we wouldn't be able to maintain our support and customer service standards, kind of taking it from that standpoint. I think a big thing to do though is don't apologize, for your price increase. You're not doing anything wrong. Be direct in your communication to them. Because if customers sense hesitation from your team, they're going to try to get you to delay your increase, or they may even try to get you to cancel it. And that's not a good position for you. You have to remember, why you're implementing a price increase for your MSP in the first place. You're not doing it to be greedy. You're doing it to maintain and grow your MSP by being able to offer quality services and being able to properly compensate your key personnel that you rely on to deliver those services. And that's one of the big reasons for price increases, right? Is with the people that you're dealing with, because people are at the heart of your organization and they're a cost to you. And you don't want to lose them because you couldn't continue to pay them an appropriate salary. So in order to keep them and to keep them happy, implementing regular price increases, it's going to be necessary, because when it comes to price increases, and I was kind of saying this yesterday in my boot camp, for the very best clients, yes, price is going to be a factor, but it's not the factor. If you are the right MSP and you're giving the right set of services, and you're working with the right type of organization, they're not going to go and leave you, because you happen to raise your price. Clients that haggle over pricing are not good clients for your MSP, anyway, if you're getting a lot of pushback.